I think you can like go online and download like a run of show like notes on what you're supposed to do if you go to the film like to participate.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I did bring what
you?
are you supposed to do?
Man, here we go. Hello, goons, ghouls, and goblins, and etc. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of the Scary Movie Project. I am your host, Matt, as always. And today we're thrilled to have a great show for you where, well, and I wanted to let you guys know, wanted to really talk about the fact that maybe you know a newly engaged couple have a breakdown in an isolated area and must seek shelter at the bizarre residence of Dr. Frank-N-Furter. If you don't know him, it's because we're talking today about a movie called The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't seen it, but you've definitely heard of it. And we're talking about it today. And I have two of my friends with me, two feisty redheads, Kristina and Sara from Laughing with Ginger's podcast. You've heard us talk about Shaun of the Dead. What else did we do? We did an episode on, what was the werewolf movie we did?
Shoot, what was that called? Something.
I don't know, but we did a tree one.
Ginger Snap.
Oh, Ginger Snap and Treevenge. We hope you all have seen Treevenge. What a great holiday film it is. Anyway, the best. So welcome, you two lovely ladies, to this show. I'm glad you're here. This was kind of your Genesis idea, I think. So this is going to be a lot of fun. And say hi to everybody. Say hello to everybody out there.
Hello.
Hello. I am very, very excited to get into it today.
Yeah. This movie is wild, right? So like I said, even if you haven't seen it, you've heard of it. Everyone has heard of this movie. I don't care who you are, right? Mm-hmm. You've heard of the film. It's like a crazy cult classic. There's a lot to it, right? So synopsis-wise, we'll do our best because it's not really a whole lot of plot to this film necessarily. It kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I mean, we'll do what we can, right? That's what we're here for. So, all right. So the deal is, right, this couple, it starts off with these lips talking and this great little soundtrack and the opening credits and everything goes into it. Wedding, a couple, Brad and Janet, or their friend gets married. They're there. They decide they're going to get married, right? And we fast forward to them driving. They're driving to what? To visit their friend, Dr. something or other, that was like a professor there or something like that, right?
Yeah, because that makes sense.
Yeah, well, notice, I found
After
interesting too. I hadn't watched this movie in a long time, and I noticed that when they're driving in the car on the radio, they're listening to Richard Nixon's resignation speech. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Right?
I don't think I ever noticed that.
Yes, I swear to God, I swear to God, that's what they're listening to on the radio.
Oh man!
So
I'm gonna have to pay attention. Darn!
Yeah,
I have to watch it again.
I will resign the office of the president effective noon tomorrow. Yeah. So I don't know. That's what I think they're listening to. And of course, it's a rainy night and they get a flat tire and I wish I had gotten that flat spare tire fix, whatever. So they get stuck and they end up at this strange, spooky manor, right? Hey, how about that? And they come on in. They're met by Riff Raff, who's this creepy looking dude, and he brings them in. And there's just a big party going on. And they go and they meet our friend Dr. Frank-N-Furter, who is played by Tim Curry, who really steals the show and is this entire movie, essentially, right?
So good. So good.
You know him as Pennywise from It, the miniseries, I hope. Mm-hmm. And, of course, the great scene, the great guy from Home Alone 2, he's the guy at the hotel, stolen credit card, right?
Yes.
Remember that? Yeah, Tim Curry's the best, man. Random movie fact for you there. Okay, anyway. So there's like a party going on. They're having a good time. Apparently it's the Transylvanian Convention, I guess. And we find out Dr. Frank-N-Furter is a transvestite from the planet Transsexual in the galaxy of Transylvania. Am I correct on this? Yes, that's where he's from.
That sounds about right. I think that's his calling card.
Now, I'll mention something about Transylvania later. But so they're at a big party, and they're singing, and there's dancing, and we're doing the time warp, and it's a great song. You know the song. Just a step to the right, a step to the left, whatever. And there's also like a narrator in this film, right? He's kind of explaining like what's going on in real time, and he's got his book in his stuffy office and whatever. And, Janet and Brad are kind of stuck-up folks, right? They're, and after a while, Frank-N-Furter basically seduces the both of them, and these great shots of like the silhouette of them in bed, right? And he's just having his way with them, and they resist at first, and they kind of give in after a while. But what Frank-N-Furter, he's making like a human, and he made this guy Rocky Horror, right? And he's like the Adonis, he's like the Greek god or whatever. Then Meatloaf shows up, and I don't know that I really understood that part. His name is Eddie, I guess, and he rides a motorcycle, and then he gets killed, and I kind of lost that part. Unless, I don't know if I didn't understand that, but if you guys want to jump in on that, I was kind of confused.
That was a pretty good job explaining that.
Yeah, and there's more singing and more dancing, and it's great. And then there is the he has the thing, he's able to freeze people, right? And he like freezes them in statues, and he dresses them in like, burlesque stuff or whatever. And when you get near the end of the movie, there's this big party up on stage, and they're dancing, they're singing. And I guess Riff Raff and Magenta have had like enough of Frank-N-Furter or whatever. They're like, we're gonna blast you. And then we break out like the laser guns, and it has like the awesome like laser beams and stuff. And he has this great like finishing act song that he sings. And Rocky Horror doesn't want him to die, and he climbs up like the curtain to save him. And it ends, and the house like flies off into space, whatever. And the two, Janet and Brad, are left, and they're like crawling around in the mud. And it's just like, okay. And that's like the fastest synopsis I can possibly ever give you of a film. So if that was like terrible, I want you guys to jump in. And did I cover Rocky Horror synopsis well enough right there?
Nailed it.
Yeah, you really
Yeah.
did. I can't believe you got through it so fast.
That's pretty fast, wasn't it? Yeah, I know. That was pretty good. So now that that's out of the way, we can just talk about the movie itself, right? Because the fact is, no one really necessarily cares if it makes sense, because it's just like you said, it's fun, right? This
It's
movie is
just fun. Pure
And
fun.
It is the film that, okay, so I think I shared with you guys before, and we can post it. I love the Drew Carey Show. That was one of my favorite shows when I was a kid, right? And they have a great episode where they go dress up, and they go to see Rocky Horror. And they do a whole deal, great like coordination and everything. Oh my God. And they sing Time Warp, but then they also do the Shake Your Groove thing from Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. And so like they have dueling battles, like Rocky Horror dress up and Queen of the Desert stuff, and it's this awesome like scene. It's incredible. You got to go Google it, watch it. We'll post it on. We'll post a link for you guys here too. That's so cool, right? This movie's been parodied and everything. Okay, so two movies that I love: House of a Thousand Corpses by Rob Zombie. Heavily influenced. The scenes with they're up on stage and they're dancing, the car breaking down in the rain, them finding this house. It's all like Rocky Horror. That is Rob Zombie, huge influence on that. Which brings me to Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Scout Taylor, Laurie Strode dresses up as Magenta, right? And her friend dresses up as, I guess, Dr. Frank-N-Furter. And so they do the whole like Rocky Horror costume for Halloween in the movie. That's really cool. And then one thing I like also is Patricia Quinn, who plays Magenta, right? She is in Lords of Salem, which is a Rob Zombie film. So she's a witch. She plays one of the coven in the movie. So all these like Rob Zombie tie into all his film, which I love, bring into this movie. But I mean, this is tied into so many other, and The Simpsons has parodied this, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure.
Bob's
What else?
Burgers.
Yeah, what else have you guys seen this like done in, right? I mean, everywhere, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so many different places. They literally play this down the road from me in a theater year round. It's not
Really?
even like just for Halloween. It's just
My.
all the time, year round.
It's awesome. And this was the film that started this whole like midnight screening cult thing, yelling at like this theater thing, right?
Interactivity.
This interactivity, and it's so like big. I think you can like go online and download like a run of show like notes on what you're supposed to do if you go to the film like to participate.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I did bring what
you?
are you supposed to do?
Man, here we go. Woo! So this is like another famous cult midnight yelling at the Room. Have you guys seen The Room? I hope.
I haven't. Oh, wait, have I? No, I haven't.
I can't remember.
The Room is like the greatest, worst movie ever made. And it has become super famous. You will not stop laughing watching this film. It's so god-awful that it's great, right? And it's become this big thing, too, where people go to see it and then they yell at the screen for certain scenes and things like that. And I don't know if they dress up for that. But, I mean, what's a better Halloween costume, right, with a group of people than, Riff Raff and all these folks, right? What's better than that? It's the perfect costume. It's the perfect. I think it still plays like in New York City at screenings and places like that. It's not as huge as it used to be, but I think it's still pretty big. But I'm not a musical person, but this is a great movie, and the songs are fun. The music is good. Is it the best musical ever? I don't know. Maybe you can make the argument. I suppose.
I don't
right?
know if they have won any awards, but it's pretty good in my eyes.
It's another one of these films, just like everything that I love on this show, that the people see this movie when it first comes out and they think it's a pile of garbage, and then 5 years later, 10 or 20, look at it, almost 50 years later, people revere it, right? So reviews at the time, who knows what that means? But,
yeah, true, because it was just like one person or two people doing the reviews, like in the newspaper.
So originally a play, right? 1973. And is the guy that wrote it the guy that plays Riff Raff? Is that right? Is he the writer of the
I
film?
think I remember reading that. I would put money on it.
O'Brien
that's
or
right.
something is his last name, something like that. I think
Richard O'Brien?
Is that right? Is he also the character?
I think so, yeah.
And these characters, they're the same actors played the roles in the original the play as well, correct? In the original run.
Yeah, I think you're
Most
right.
of them,
actually.
yeah.
They played in the movie, right?
Yeah, most of them. You are correct, by the way, that Richard Nixon's resignation speech was being played on the radio.
I told
and
you.
Richard O'Brien was not in favor of this decision because it locked the movie into a specific time frame.
So that's a good question. That's a great. What was the? Did they give a reason why did they decide to play that? Did they say? I'm curious as to what the is there a reasoning?
They didn't
No.
say in what I found.
That's interesting. I'm just curious. Like, of all the things you could play on a radio, hey, we're going to play Richard Nixon's resignation speech. Like, okay, whatever, whatever works for you. I mean, yeah.
I wonder why they chose it.
They had a reason, I'm sure. So whatever.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But yeah, it locks into that specific time. So that's interesting. So this is like a throwback to like horror films too, right? Like the Hammer horror films. And the old, manners and the costume and the settings and shooting it in Britain and all these things. And it was so cool to throw back to these sci-fi 60s, 50s movies that dominated movies back then. That was so cool to do that. This is 1975, this movie, right? I believe. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
So that is really cool. They did that. I think, did they make like a pseudo sequel, but it wasn't really a sequel? Some other musical,
I don't know.
but it didn't have the same characters. It was a sequel in the sense that like Casino was a sequel to Goodfellas, if you understand what I'm saying. Like the same actors, the same sort of character kind of thing, but it really wasn't a sequel. There's some sort of connection there. I don't know.
I did not find that in my trivia, although there are like 700 pages of trivia.
I assume there's quite a bit of trivia for this movie. So you guys have dressed up for these characters before, have you not? Is this correct? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And I've gone to the theater a few times.
You done? Okay. So you've, all right. I dressed up as Marilyn Manson once for Halloween, and that was about as close to Dr. Frank-N-Furter as you can get. But I've never done the whole dress up for the movie thing. All right. So tell us, please, about going to the theater. So I got to hear about this. This is great.
It's super fun, and it's a little overwhelming if it's your first time. Like, definitely, probably you want to have watched it before you go, just so you can have an idea.
Should you know the movie before? Should you have seen it before you go? Is that?
Yeah, I feel like it just helps you get into it and know what's coming a little bit better. But okay, so I'm gonna list a lot of the things, but a lot of the things are banned because they're messy and people have to clean them up and they can damage the theater. Okay. So what they'll do is replace, and I've gone a few times, so different theaters do different things, but a lot of times in the throwing stuff, they replace it with those party favors that extend out when you throw them and then they come back in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
kind of like a little whip. Okay. So at the beginning, when the wedding's happening, you're supposed to throw rice also as they exit the church.
Nice.
And and you're supposed to throw it not just at the screen, but at the audience and people around you. Because that's what's fun.
Is this like a full theater usually? Also, I'm sure.
Oh,
right?
I mean, every time I went, it was full and fun,
cool.
and I mean, hundreds of magentas, hundreds of there's all duplicates of the characters, and some people just dress up like just weird because that's kind of how the characters in the movie are. They're just exactly. Okay, so when Brad and Janet are caught in the storm, Janet covers her head with a newspaper, which is called the Plain Dealer. Just, I guess, a little trivia to insert there.
So,
and at this point,
there's a paper at Cleveland called the Cleveland Plain Dealer. That's their newspaper, I think.
Oh, how interesting!
Don't ask me how on earth I know that.
I know that.
No, that's the most random fact question I think we've ever had on this show ever. Please continue.
That is hilarious. So she covers her head, so everyone in the audience starts covering their head with newspapers, which is pretty safe. But then the water pistols. So people bring water pistols. So when it's raining, you're supposed. This is why you also have the newspaper, because you're supposed to squirt people.
I like it.
And then there's the light verse of over at the Frankenstein place. So we were allowed to do like a lighter, but if you have candles or whatever, so you're supposed to kind of sing along and light up with your lighter. Okay, during and after the creation speech, Frank snaps his rubber gloves 3 times. And then later, Magenta pulls these gloves off his hands. So each time those happen, because people will wear the rubber gloves, everyone like snaps it or snaps them off or snaps them at each other. And then at the end of the creation speech, the Transylvanians respond with applause and noisemakers. And you should do the same. So if you bring like one of those ringing noisemakers or like, things you blow with your mouth, which those can be fun with the throwing things, as you could do those noisemakers during it. At the end of the Charles Atlas song, the Transylvanians throw confetti. So sometimes you can throw confetti. It's so messy. But again, like a lot of the theaters will just give you something that is safe to toss and, swing around. Oh, here's a really fun one. So toilet paper. A lot of people really do bring the toilet paper. So when Dr. Scott enters the lab, Brad cries out, "Great Scott!" At this point, you should hurl rolls of toilet paper into the air.
Okay, I like that. That's good.
Preferably That's good. Scott's.
Yes, of course, Scott.
Okay, when Frank proposes a toast at dinner, this is a really funny one, and this definitely happens.
Dinner scene. We didn't even mention that dinner scene. Man, I forgot. Damn, sorry.
So you're supposed to throw toast at the screen and
nice.
At the attendees, but like unbuttered. It's very frowned upon if you throw buttered toast.
Crumbs are bad enough. We don't need any butter. Yes.
Oh. And then at the dinner table, when Frank puts on the party hat, everyone dons their own party hats as well to get into it. And then during the song, Planet, Schmanet, Janet ring the bell when Frank sings. Did you hear a bell ringing? A lot of people will just hold their keys.
You better wise up. I love that song.
I know, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. Okay, I have 2 more. During the song, I'm Going Home, Frank sings Cards for Sorrow, Cards for Pain. And at this point, people start throwing around like playing deck cards. And then the last one is so gross. Hot dogs and prunes. It has happened on occasion that fans will throw hot dogs and prunes at their appropriate mention in the film. This should not be encouraged because it attracts rodents and leaves stains.
And it's just really gross.
Yeah, so
I don't want to be in a venue where people are throwing hot dogs or no thanks.
Don't serve hot dogs during this film theaters.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Like that's really really cool.
Yeah. That's just the throwing things and the like antics. Like I didn't even touch the dances. The dances
now, people
and the
get
shouting.
up and actually perform like on stage in front of the screen too, right? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah, and I mean you stand up and you're taking a step to the left,
You
and you're
do
doing
the time warp.
Yeah, exactly. So fun.
Oh my god. You know what? I would do that. I don't know that I would dress up. But I would like to sit in the theater and see that spectacle, right? I would like to see that.
You have to participate.
Yeah, you have to.
I
it's
know.
really frowned upon.
I'd have to do something. I'll throw crap. I'll do that. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'll do it.
You got to do a little dancing. You don't have to dress up. Like, there's a lot of people that don't dress up for sure, but you have to do a little dance.
I get into it. Why not? Yeah, that is really cool. So I wonder then, I don't know how many places do it anymore. And if it's like a big, I've certainly never seen anything posted, but I'm never looking for it saying, at this theater like around here, Sarah, I've never seen anything around here that says they're a screening of it. Have you? I never have.
I have.
Oh, have you? Okay.
I had never seen it.
Okay.
And it was probably when Philippe and I first started dating. So like 15 plus years ago.
Okay.
And I was like, they're still airing old movies here? And I feel like it was like out in Occoquan or something.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And which is in Virginia, for those of you who don't know. And so I was like, how cool is that? I had no idea, because we used to do that growing up at the drive-in. You would watch old movies. So I thought it was just, and then I learned all of the things.
Yes, all of the things. All of them.
Yes. Also, shout out to Philippe, who, when I dressed up as Dr. Frank-N-Furter for Halloween a couple years ago, he dressed up as Kyle, very on brand for both of us. And he told everyone that this was just stuff I wore all the time. It wasn't even like a costume.
Very nice.
So nice of him.
Yeah, isn't that? What a guy. What a guy.
Oh, God.
Although everyone complained about my hair. They were like, he doesn't have red hair, though. Like,
come on.
Guys.
Come on. You know what? I'm assuming at this point, I never like looked for this, but I guess if you go into like a Spirit Halloween or a Halloween store, are we at the point now where they have those pre-made costumes of those characters? You can just buy them, sure?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was to say.
My next door neighbor does themed Halloween parties every year. So she did Rocky Horror 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And so she dressed up as Magenta and then transitioned into Space Magenta. And that one she got from the store. But a lot of people came in things that were from the store.
Yeah. Next time I go in, I'm going to have to make a point to look for them. I just never really thought and paid attention before. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that. Oh, so I'll speak for having been to actual real Transylvania. I did not see Dr. Frank-N-Furter when I was there, nor did I leave the planet to get there. But that's just my experience with the Transylvania here on Earth. That Transylvania, that one I can't speak for. So,
well, you didn't take a redhead.
No, I did not. So. Maybe next time I'll go to the planet Trans. Then I can say I've been to both Transylvanias, and that would be quite exciting. So, was it like a banner they had? It was like the Transylvania Convention or something. He said, was that what that is in the movie? Right?
I feel like you're right. When
they're up on stage, there's some Transylvania Convention. Yeah.
I'd go.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, why not? It sounds like a good time, right? I would go hang out at that party. There's parts I would like, some parts I may not like, but I'm in. Yeah. Let's go, man. Some food, some drink, have a good time. Get to see a person be made. That you get to see that at many parties, right?
No,
I've never been to a party where a person's been made. I can say that. So,
depends on how you're making.
Okay,
the person.
so yeah, you know what? I knew you were gonna say. I was kind of thinking the same thing, and I've been to probably many parties where that's happened, but anyway.
Matt was hoping to skirt by that.
Yeah, nah, that wasn't getting past me. No. It just took a minute to get going on that one.
It's less obvious, but it's happening.
Let me rephrase that. Oh, it's happening. Let me rephrase that. We've never been to a party where a human being is created in a giant tank. How about that? Should I be a little more specific about that? Yeah, that I have not done. So, and can we talk about the meatloaf? What is that? What is going on with him? I don't understand that.
It's bizarre. I feel like he was just popular at that time, and they're like, let's just write him in a weird way. It doesn't matter. This movie's already weird, and we love meatloaf.
I mean, didn't we lose Meatloaf about a year ago too? Didn't he?
2.
Yeah.
We just Googled it.
Yeah,
We just Googled it. It was 2.
He was on. How could you forget him in Fight Club?
You're so good in Fight Club.
Hilarious in Fight Club.
Forgot about that.
He was on Ghost Hunters like once or twice.
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, that's awesome.
When I was a kid, I loved the CD cover of Bad Out of Hell because I loved the artwork on it. I didn't even know the song, but I was like, it just looks cool. It just looks cool. Sounds good. Yeah. So yeah, I think all right. So they all play the original characters in the stage play. I don't know now how often is the play? How often is it done anymore? Is it done anymore?
I hope
have
so.
no idea.
No.
I bet it is. I mean, people got to be doing it.
Because they like retire these plays after like a certain amount of time, right? Like, don't they eventually just like stop playing some of these things or stop doing them?
I mean, I think if people stop going, but I would imagine people still go.
Oh, I would think they'd go to this. I mean, yeah, right? I'm sure the movie is way more fun to go to because, like you said, all the participation. Yeah. But the play itself, and I don't think there's much difference, is there? I think they're pretty close, right?
Are they participating in the play? I have no idea.
Oh, that part I don't think so. But I'm saying like the actual story. I don't think there's much of a difference between like the quote unquote plot. I don't think there's a huge difference in those. I think
the alleged plot.
The story is the same. So production wise, right? All right. Name the greatest music video of all time. It's an easy answer. Go. Come on.
Thriller?
Yes, correct.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
What do
easy.
I win?
You win. You win the correct answer. You're correct. That's what you win.
Yes.
It's the greatest music video of all time. The coordination and everything is just, I mean, the slides, the claps, everything is perfect, right? John Landis did that. That's a lot of work. And that's a little more work than running lines and block all that stuff. That's hard to do, but that's like hard work. This whole movie is a giant like music video of these songs, right?
Yeah.
I would love to have sat and watched them shoot this stuff because this would have been intense. The incredible sets they're using, the light. I mean, this is extravagant, like design and set and stuff, right? This is really cool.
Yeah.
And to do that stuff when the time warp, there's a lot going on there. Yeah. There's a lot going on there. I thought that was really, really cool. I like that a lot.
So funny you mentioned that.
Okay.
So the Pierre Laroche, who is the former personal stylist for David Bowie, created the movie's makeup styles and helped create the signature look for Dr. Frank-N-Furter.
So I like that you said that because I get David Bowie vibes from the glitter and stuff, right? Yeah.
The snarl.
It makes me feel. I can think Bowie when I see that. Yeah.
It's like a reverse snarl, like the lip bite versus like the. I can't do it.
I can totally see that. Yeah, that's. And didn't I hear that makeup person or the person you're talking about, like never even said like they never had like really real inspiration. They just kind of thought these things off the top of their head, and was like, here you go, here's some costume ideas, like whatever.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It looks that way. I know.
Yeah, like there wasn't, detailed research into stuff and, different ideas. Like they just kind of came up with this and like, boom, here's what we got. Here's what we got. So this is a movie that it's never on TV anymore. Now I know I'm dating myself because I talk about watching television. I know nobody watches television, whatever. But it used to be on TV all the time. Like around Halloween, it was on movie channels and I don't think it's on TV anymore. Like I rented it to watch it again. I hadn't seen it in a long time. It used to be on all the time, and it was easily accessible. Now you got to like stream it, whatever. It's still out there, but I think the first time I saw it, I was probably a kid, and I don't know that it doesn't make as much sense, right? Is that the right word? As it does when you watch it now, because you understand a lot more things.
Yeah.
If I saw it as a kid, I don't remember because it was different.
11. Yeah, and all it was to me was just like electric color of these people dressed up and whatever. I don't know what's going on, right? But when you watch it now, it's a totally different deal, right? Like how old were you guys when you saw this movie the first time?
I was in high school.
Okay.
I think I'm older than you guys.
We're all old on this show. It's okay. Don't feel bad.
I remember I saw it in high school. I think I was like freshman or sophomore, and my mind was like, pow, blown over. I was like, oh, this is so much fun.
That's
and then
awesome.
I made all my friends watch it.
Yes, good. That's great. That's a great story for it.
I feel like I probably saw it when I was younger, but I don't have a memory of seeing it until Philippe and I started dating, and he made fun of me for not knowing why it was still in the movie theater.
Wow. Okay.
And then he made me watch it, and then I understood.
Okay. So you got trivia for this or what?
I do. Okay. Are we ready?
Bring it. Am I ready? Come on.
It's a full scope. I tried to pull the things that I love and the things that Matt loves in my trivia. So,
right. I never do well in these, but okay.
But it's not a quiz, so that's okay.
Okay. Okay.
So Barry Botswick, who plays Brad,
yep.
I think I called him Kyle before when I said Philippe dressed up as him.
Oh,
you did.
Okay.
I was like, who's Kyle? But I was rolling with it.
Because he looks like a Kyle.
But you look like a Kyle. What's that? Oh, she looks like a. Oh God, there's this great line from a movie where someone. Oh, it's from Seinfeld when Kramer keeps calling George's fiance Lily. Her name is Susan, but she looks like a lily. All right, please go ahead. Proceed.
I cannot get over it when that happens to me. I think also because this guy's name is Barry Botswick.
Barry Botswick.
That it also trips me because it's so close to Brad that I think I must be right in Kyle. Anyway, he pounds his fist on the table during the dinner scene, and he accidentally pounds on Susan Sarandon's hand. So the reaction from her is prominent and very much real. And then
wow, that's good.
Him by stepping on Bostwick's foot with the spike of her heel during the floor show scene. And his reaction is visible there too.
Ooh, nice. Real. I like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like watch it and look for those.
Those moments are great. Those are great moments in film. I love stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It feels like they had so much fun on this set, even though it was awful.
You know what? I'm going to just bring this up, and this is not like, I think this is known stuff, I guess, but Shelley Duvall passed away recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people talk about how great The Shining is, and it is. Mm-hmm. But people forget, like, that movie messed her up. Making that movie screwed that woman up. Stanley Kubrick's direction, like, drove her crazy, right? So sometimes these sets, what fun, we say, and we don't know. These may have been horrendous, like, I'm saying, you never know, but anyway, go ahead.
Oh, I do know. Hold, please.
Just a moment, please.
The set had no heat or bathrooms.
There you go. No bathroom? Come on, dude.
No bathrooms. When Susan Sarandon told the studio heads, they told her she was complaining too much. She ended up catching pneumonia after filming the pool scene in that skimpy outfit.
I bet.
And according to Richard O'Brien, she was shaking with fever and should have been under medical supervision, but refused to stop working.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's whack. Come on,
not
man.
Cool.
I think they made the most out of the situation, though. Like, you could tell that they had, like, fun together.
Yeah.
They were trauma bonding.
There you go. Trauma bonding. I like that.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
That's a good word. New word today, folks. You just learned something. Trauma bonding.
It's real.
Not only
it is.
Not only are we a great show, we're educational. Thank you.
Okay, so Tim Curry, do you like how I just shifted in my seat because I'm now getting so excited about sharing trivia?
Let's go. LFG.
So Tim Curry started out playing Dr. Frank-N-Furter with a German accent, which is actually, there's a full circle here. We'll go back to that.
I can totally see that. That seems...
I could get into that.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Hold on to that feeling. But he changed it when he heard a woman on a bus speaking in a highly exaggerated English accent that reminded him of Queen Elizabeth II. He later combined the elements of his mother's telephone voice to make the speaking voice for Dr. Frank-N-Furter.
Oh.
Wow. Interesting. Okay, that's seems like a lot of work, but it works. I guess it's okay for him. So cool.
It does. It does. And speaking of German, this is a kind of not so fun fact, but still interesting because I think anything cultural like this is always interesting. So the green surgical gown that Dr. Frank-N-Furter wears that has the pink triangle over his heart, the triangle was used by the Nazis in concentration camps to denote that the wearer was a gay man, but it is pointing down, and the pink triangle pointing upward is often used now as a symbol of gay pride.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I had forgotten. I did hear that after they did that, they would also mark you like for gay people because they were out to get everybody, obviously. So they made a point to do that. That's interesting. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I thought that was like so then if he had the German accent, I feel like we may have noticed that a bit more.
That's a great point, right? You're not thinking about that because you don't hear it. It doesn't like audibly register with you or whatever, right? Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, which is why I feel like he made the right choice there because it would have really pulled focus from the funny parts of it and made it a little bit more serious, which because of course, yeah. Okay, so Tim Curry was very reluctant to talk about this movie for years due to some bad memories about overzealous fans. He told VH1 that he grew up chubby and plain and was trying to escape the role of Frank.
Okay. Huh. So he did not want to be this character.
He didn't want to be treated like this character because he's not the character. He's a real person.
Well, yeah, of course. That makes sense, right? He doesn't want to be cast. I hate to say it. You say what you want, right? I mentioned a couple other roles. For me, he's still Pennywise from It, but he also is. He's Dr. Frank. He is. That's just, that's what I think of. When it's like word association, right? Name an actor, actress. If I said Tom Hanks, go ahead. What do you got?
Forrest Gump.
There you go.
Castaway.
Okay. Here's one that I'm going to name for you that would be my answer, and I'm going to guess. I saw Castaway the other day. That's a great movie. If I said Jodie Foster, what do you say?
Silence of the Lambs.
Exactly. Right. So there's certain, you see what I'm saying? There's certain roles that people associate you with, right?
You can't get away from it.
You can't. And how folks don't like that. They don't want to be typecasted, whatever. So I get what he's saying, but, it's not an infamous role. It's it's a great role. So we said at the beginning, that guy, he's the movie. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
The makeup, the outfits, it's awesome.
I think he was just a shy guy, though, and he would have rather flown under the radar, and that is the complete opposite of Dr. Frank-N-Furter.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. That's definitely for sure.
Yeah, I think that for me is what would be incredibly preventative for being famous. Is that people put you in a role and then you're stuck in that place. And it doesn't matter what that role is. And it's across any level of fame. I think that's really hard.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Alien.
Halloween.
Wait, why did that pop in my brain? There. No.
That's Sigourney Weaver.
I know. Yeah. I didn't want to say that oh my God, The Bear, because I just watched the Christmas episode of The Bear last.
Is that a show?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it though.
Oh, okay, Matt. You actually, both of you would really like it. It's about running a restaurant and trying to get a Michelin star.
That's right. Okay, that's the one, right?
It's the one with Jeremy Allen White.
Yep.
Anyway, she has a cameo in the same night as Sarah Paulson and John.
Wait, who? Sigourney Weaver or
no? Wait a minute. Who are we talking about here?
Jamie Lee Curtis and
the alien from Alien has a cameo.
They cook it.
Yes,
and it's delicious.
And it busts out of someone's stomach and it runs away. Yes,
it's related to shellfish, though, so don't eat it if you have a shellfish allergy.
Please don't. Yes, don't make that horrible mistake. What the heck were we talking about?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh yeah, I'm way off now. Nah, we're doing word association with actors. That was our game, right? Yeah.
I mean, she was good in True Lies.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, I love that movie.
In, like everything that she does.
Look, she's Laurie Strode and always will be. That's all I can say. Anyway, sorry. Trivia, continue, please. We got veered off course on that a little bit.
So in addition to no heat and no bathrooms,
yes.
The cast and crew were pressured by time. They filmed this in just 5 weeks.
Wow.
And they all arrived in the studio early in the morning to get makeup. So Tim Curry's makeup took 4 hours to apply. So he learned how to do it by himself because he couldn't take that amount of time. And then due to the rigorous schedule, it was necessary for the process to be very businesslike and professional throughout filming. And there was very little partying during production in general. And the contrast to the show's infamous after-hours shenanigans.
Shenanigans, love it.
I wonder what that's all about.
Yeah,
say shenanigans one more time.
Shenanigans. House of Pain, Shamrocks and Shenanigans, right? You know what? Those makeup outfit chair stories, right? You know, hours and hours. I can sit and get my hair cut for like 20 minutes, like half an hour. After that, like I'm sorry, dude, I'm done. Like we're done. I cannot sit there and have you do something to me for that long amount of time. I just can't do that.
I mean, it's also like there's a huge difference in now versus in the 70s because like now you have your phone or your computer or whatever that isn't going to be in the way necessarily. Yeah. But like imagine like Jim Carrey in The Grinch gives me nightmares thinking about.
Well, think about.
I mean, you could read a book.
Well, how about the ones? Here's the deal: how about when they have to make a full face cast of you, and they have to cover your entire face, and then you have to like breathe through a straw for like an hour or more.
That's a lot.
That's some freaky stuff. Like I'm seriously claustrophobic, so I don't know. I probably couldn't do something like that.
I was just gonna say I would be okay because I'm not claustrophobic. I would take that as like I can fall asleep. So when I've had to get an MRI in the past, the problem is that like I will fall asleep in the MRI every single time.
Well, wow.
And it's loud. So like I literally have the ability to fall asleep. Like I think it's a bit of stress sleeping. Like as soon as turbulence hits, I fall asleep. Like I can't keep my eyes open.
Wow.
It's something I'm not in control of. So I think I just give up my control and fall asleep.
Okay. That's good.
I think
a good thing.
That would be my coping mechanism.
Fall asleep.
Someone's robbing your house. Done. You're like, good night.
I'm out, man. Just going to sleep. Yeah. We had a natural disaster. We had an earthquake. I'm going to sleep. Yeah.
I slept right through it.
Yeah. Yep. National tragedy, you know. The president was assassinated. I'm going to bed.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That's how the trauma, that's how you deal with it, man. It's all good. Just going to bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all your friends would be like, man, did you guys hear about that tornado? I bet Sarah's asleep. Don't call her.
Don't wake her up.
Category 5 hurricane barreling up the East Coast. Sarah is asleep. Yeah. I like it. I need to start using that. I've had MRIs before, like on my knees, so I never really had to go like all the way in it. I had one on my arm. Actually, I had one on my arm once, and I didn't love it. I mean, you can see all the surroundings, so you're not like encased in it, but I didn't love it.
Yeah, I was encased in it, and I had a Hannibal Lecter mask on because I was having ocular migraine, so it was like targeted over my eyes.
Yeah, that no. I had one like on my arm years ago, and I had like my knee, but I never had to like go. I never was in the deal. I had the open one, I guess. So it's just like, nah. I'm cool.
They had to keep yelling at me and telling me to stay awake, and I was like, "Listen, if you want me to stay awake, then you have to talk to me or something." Okay,
that's interesting. You have to be awake. You can't like you have to be functioning.
Move. Yeah, like you move.
Okay.
You like jerk and yeah.
Well, I remember them saying like when I had my like, do not move your arm, like you don't move, dude, like stay put, right?
Yeah, they had to keep rescanning me, and they were a little frustrated, which is understandable. But then you have to entertain me because otherwise I'm just going to keep going.
Well, they gave me the headphones and like the cheap music or whatever to listen to. That's what I had.
They could at least like play music in there or just like tell me. They could have told me trivia. I would have been awake for that.
Yeah.
So, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Okay, so Um, Barry Bostwick.
Very Bostwick.
I really want to invert those letters. And Susan Sarandon were actually dating during filming.
Is that right? Okay.
What? Scandalous.
I know. Who knew? And Matt,
who knew?
Your my two last ones are your favorites.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
Who do you think auditioned for the role of Brad Majors?
All right. We're talking 1974, 75. Richard Dreyfuss.
It's a good guess.
That's a good guess.
I'm thinking of Jaws. So
Kristina?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Or Burt Reynolds.
Also a good guess. I can see them both playing that role.
All right. Who was it?
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin. I could see that.
I could see that too.
You know, sometimes those trivias are good, like someone so-and-so, and you're like, nah, they could have never done that. I could see that.
He could have done it.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I love him. He's great.
Father of the Bride? Come on. Those movies are the best, right? They're hilarious.
He has a jazz band. Did you know trivia for him? I've seen him, and he's really good.
I work with a former White House photographer, and he used to go and shoot the National Memorial Concert in the mall, and Steve Martin's band used to play there once in a while. Yeah.
They're great.
Yep. So is there one more question, or is that the only one?
No, there's one more. Okay.
Ooh, all right.
Who do you think? And this one is so on the nose that I honestly don't think you're ever going to guess it in a million years. Who do you think wanted to play the role of Dr. Frank-N-Furter in the movie version?
This is an actor, like a well-known person, okay, who wanted to play it?
I don't know that, I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint here because I think if you get stuck in actor, you're not going to get it.
Okay.
Elton John.
Wow. I like it.
You are not far off.
Okay. Well, we said David Bowie earlier. There's no way. Was it Bowie?
It wasn't Bowie.
Okay.
Jagger.
Oh, totally. That's perfect. Actually, that's perfect.
He would have been good.
He would have been perfect.
It's so on the nose. I was like, you would never guess it in a million years, but you can't unsee it.
Which done his walk and everything. That would have been hilarious. Oh, that's the first movie I think I've seen where I've agreed with who should have been cast instead. I think Steve Martin and Mick Jagger, right?
I want a version too.
Mick Jagger, the Rolling Stones will never die. Keith Richards clearly will never die. So we might as well make the movie again now, right? So the heck with it. Steve Martin.
That would have been great.
All right, so let me ask. I'm sorry. Was there any more? I don't want more.
No, that's it. I mean, there are 100,000 pages of it, but I pulled just a few.
We only have time for one episode, so all right. 2 questions. 1, impact on LGBT society. 2, cultural society as a whole, pop culture. Where does this movie rank? What did it do? We already talked about the movie screenings, obviously, the movies that had impacted the TV shows. What else? What has it done? What do you think? Almost 50 years later now, right?
That's tough.
Yeah, I would say I don't think it had a negative impact on LGBTQ+.
No, it's a good thing.
Yeah. I don't think you could argue that it did. I would say
it's a very sexual movie. I mean, it is, and it's great, and it's awesome, and it's not weird. I don't think it's uncomfortable. I think it's androgyny, whatever you want to say. Like it, yeah. I mean the scenes where Frank-N-Furter is with Brad and Jan. I mean, he goes into both their bedrooms. It's 1975. We still hadn't seen a lot of that stuff, right? That stuff still wasn't in every TV show and movie we see it anymore, right? It's just totally normal now.
And Tim Curry actually came out and said that Frank-N-Furter is pansexual.
Okay.
Which was definitely not something that people, I don't think it was a term that people used in
if
the
it was in 1975, I mean, maybe I don't know, man. 70s were interesting. Maybe 60s were more that thing, but I don't know. But that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I would say I feel like there's a reason that it's still around. People felt seen and heard in this movie.
There you go.
And across the board. And And I think that that's why it's such a cult classic, right? Like we all, no matter what you like, who you are, there is a person in this movie that you can relate to. And I think that that's really beautiful.
I like that a lot. I think that's because there was, many or multiple, whatever, a person that went to see this and saw it and thought, holy crap, this is how I feel, or this is what I want to dress as, or this is what I want to do. And this movie is like a giant celebration of it. Like that's this. And then, like you said, then you go to the screenings and you are exactly who you want to be in there, and you have a wild rumpus time, and it's awesome. And yeah, that's really cool, right?
Yeah, everyone's accepted. Like in whatever form you come as, you'll be accepted. Even if you don't dress up, quote unquote, and you just come as you are.
Absolutely.
Although I would like to encourage people to dress up because I just love it. But, that's me.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be me.
Like I said, I would go see it. I don't think I'd dress up for it, but I'd go see it. How did Susan Sarandon feel, by the way? Is this even has anyone ever mentioned this? She's practically almost naked this whole movie. Like, how comfortable, is she doing this, right?
I actually have this answer because this is part of the trivia that I skipped. She was supposed to be naked.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like 90% of it.
I could see that.
Wow.
Yeah, I could see that.
And she had been nude in movies prior to this.
So
she refused.
What is she, 75 or so now, right? I mean, she's become a giant star. She cemented her legacy, obviously. What line of films in what order? Is this one of her first few movies, if not ever? I don't know that. Do we know that?
I did not look that up. I know that she had been nude in at least 2 movies because of the way that it was talked about. So
I haven't seen a lot of her stuff, honestly.
I mean, she's been in like the full gamut. A lot of the stuff I don't feel like you would see. Like, I don't think you're going to go watch Steel Magnolias or Stepmom.
Maybe seen some of that, but then, she's in like what's the Grisham lawyer movie, right? She's like that was a big movie
Pelican
she did too. Wasn't it something like that? I think, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait, is that the right movie? Pelican.
It's one of those, or The Firm, or something like that.
The Firm is another one. That one might be the right one.
Anyway, I mean, long story short, she is she's a name in Hollywood. She's a respected, famous actress, and it's just like it's fun to see them come from these. For me, like one thing I've noticed with horror is a lot of actors that are big now get their starts. Look at the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or The Next Generation, which is a terrible film. Who's starring in that movie though? I don't know if you ever saw it. It's Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, like Oscar-worthy, actors.
That's crazy.
You look at Nightmare on Elm Street with
Johnny Depp.
First Johnny Depp,
yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street, and then later on, Arquette, right? Jamie Lee Curtis. We look at her. I mean, Halloween.
Yeah.
These folks get they want to kill these movies for being so bad, but it's where these people get started, right? So you have to start somewhere, right? So yeah, I mean, she's this like motherly figure now. She's older in these movies, and she's this total like almost naked actress this whole movie, right? It's so interesting. It's funny, right?
Yeah, I
wonder if she had gone naked.
Pneumonia.
Oh well, yeah. But I'm wondering if she had been naked, had her career path gone differently.
Well, also yes, and also you look at where would the movie have gone, and what would the rating? How would they?
That is the larger issue, I think.
I have no problem. I could have a movie where everyone's naked for that. It doesn't matter to me, but I'm not a censor, and those are things that are important. You can only, as much as actors want to say they want to protest that they don't want to be naked, you really can only show so much anyway, quite frankly. You can't just have naked people for an entire movie. It's not going to happen, right? Unless it's maybe Boogie Nights or something, whatever. But yeah, that's the whole thing too, is it's a sexualized movie, but at the same time, it's not a porno, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They need a better rating than porno rating.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But
what is my film rated? Porno!
She had been nude in other movies, so it may not have changed her.
Yeah.
But it changed this movie's trajectory. And I'm sure it would have been met with like so much more criticism and things from like, because it changes everything for the more conservative person then. We already have like a be yourself and be happy with who you are, which is the enemy of the conservative.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it can be. It can
Sorry,
be.
I probably should have been a little nicer in the way that I said that, but it's true. Like
It's a mindset people have. It's okay. I mean, that's true.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't take it back. I just should have been a little nicer in the way I said it.
No, you're entitled to your opinion. That's okay. We let everyone have their opinions on this program. It's fine. It's
You
all
can come
good.
yell at me on Instagram and I will promptly block you, probably.
Speaking of Instagram, wow, what a wonderful segue, because I think we've exhausted what we can on. Well, we could probably talk forever on this film about trivia and whatnot, but like you said, it's only one show, right? So this is great. This is a movie that what do you classify it? Is it a horror? Is it a comedy? Like, I mean,
musical?
Musical. You know what I think? To be fair, to consider it, the easiest way to put it is that it's a musical, right? I mean, I think that's it, and it has elements, of the sci-fi, of the horror. It combines all these things. It's funny. It's a comedy, right? Mm-hmm. So go watch it, please. If you don't, watch it. But also, if you get the chance, I guess, right, go see it with one of these big crowds.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many times have you gone to see it in the theater?
Well, I've done it twice.
Done it twice. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And so yeah, go see it. Check it out. So, and also check out my two wonderful friends here. So where on Laughing with Ginger, where does everybody find out about, great episodes involving killer, plants and things like that you guys so often make great episodes on, and then parlay into holiday episodes that we've done before. So how did everybody find out about this?
It's almost unbelievable.
Oh, boy. Thanks, Dad. Yeah. Good one. Yeah. You gonna spruce things up? That's your line. I stole that.
Oh my God. We're full of puns over at Laughing with Gingers. And you can find us at Laughing with Gingers on Instagram at Laughing with Gingers. Just search on your favorite podcast platform, Laughing with Gingers, and find a punny episode.
Tara and I have appeared on this program. It's a great show. We love being on it. It's a lot of fun. Yes, please check it out. And you guys know all about us, scarymovieproject.com. Please at the Scary Movie Project on Instagram. That's where I spend most of my time. You'll find me there. Email me, thescarymovieproject@gmail.com. You can discuss Rocky Horror if you want to. We can talk more about it. We can discuss, maybe we should have a viewing one day and we should all go dress up somewhere and go watch it sometime. What a great idea, right?
A dream.
What a great idea. Yeah, we can do it online or something like that. So anyway.
We can take Kristina on FaceTime and throw her at the screen.
Yes! I love it. With lots of Scott's toilet paper. Lots
throw me when the toilet paper gets thrown.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll stick you in the roll so that the phone doesn't get damaged.
Perfect.
Yes. So any I'll leave it to you guys. Any last final words on Rocky Horror that you want to add here that we didn't talk about, or that our audience needs to know all about?
Oh man, I think watch it and then go see it in real life in a theater, because it's like a very enhanced and amazing experience. So yes, this Halloween, find a theater near you.
Good ad campaign. Sarah, anything? You got anything else
I agree. That would honestly be my recommendation too. Also, I kind of wish I learned the dance. If I could impart that into anyone.
The time warp dance, or
I did not learn the time warp dance, and I kind of wish I had. So, just food for thought.
Food for thought. Food for thought. Well, thank you for joining us. I like the food for thought line because that leaves me with my last thought of, remember, folks, if it looks good, eat it.
The Scary Movie Project podcast. Learn more at thescarymovieproject.com.